Imagine travelling back in time where you find yourself as an ancient villager with 3 tasks. First, build my very own castle. Second, set up a village. And finally, take down the Illager King. Can I survive these 100 days as an ancient villager in hardcore Minecraft? Keep watching and find out. Day 1, I spawned into the world and immediately knew I was trapped. So I started looking around and noticed I was at this pillager outpost. Now I wonder how I ended up here, but as I thought it couldn't get any worse, there he was, the Illager King. And he started talking to this Illager. Wait a minute, is he talking about me? Yeah, I could tell the king was not very happy. This was not good. Now I can't stay here. I gotta get out of here quick. So I made sure the pillagers and vindicators weren't looking, and then I broke myself a way out. But as I left, I was spotted by pillagers and they started shooting me with arrows. I had no choice but to run, so I did. But I could hear the pillagers right behind me, and I noticed that there was this cliff in front of me. But luckily, as I jumped, I could see that there was some water. So I landed into that. And I have to say, that was really close. Now let's hope the pillagers don't follow us. Wow. After being chased down by the pillagers, I now needed to get myself some tools. And luckily, I was able to find this tree, so I punched it down with my bare hands and made some tools. I was super happy. Anyways, I continued my journey through the forest and noticed that I was getting hungry pretty quickly. But luckily, that wasn't a problem. I was able to find some cows, but I did need a furnace. So I found this cave and collected some cobblestone. And I also found this cave, and I could see that there was some iron and of course some coal. So I collected up some iron, and the next day I decided to go and make a shield. So hopefully this shield will keep me very safe from those pillagers. Hey, and also, I had a little bit of iron left over. So I decided to construct a iron helmet. Now this should keep me very safe. Anyways, it's time to leave the caves now. So I headed out and went exploring. But then, as I was making myself way up this hill right here, there it was. A village. This was great, so I made a way over to this village and noticed that they had their own stable right here, and of course this giant wheat farm. And surprisingly, I was able to find myself some potatoes. Now I'm sure the villagers won't mind if I could take some wheat. But as I was making myself way around the village, I noticed that there was this king off in the distance. I was very excited, so I headed over to him. So I told him I was able to escape from some pillagers and I needed a place to live. And then he told me this. Now this was great, we now had a place to stay. I was super excited, so I went around the village and I found this spot, and I thought here would be a perfect place for my base. So I placed down my bed, furnaces, and of course a crafting table. But before I built my very own home, I needed to build a potato farm. I needed food, and I have to say, it doesn't look too bad. It will do for now. Anyways, I spent the next couple of days getting myself some materials for my base. So I gathered up some wood and of course some stone. I'll need plenty of this. And on day 8, I get home and start construction on my base, using a variety of different blocks and decorating up a little bit, adding some leaves around, which look very nice. Also placed in a few windows to give it some more detail, and finally here it is. And I have to say, it doesn't look too bad with all the decoration around, really looks nice. But as I was looking at my base, this happened. Hey, I could see it was the king villager, and he wanted to tell me something. So I could see the king needed my help, so I started searching around. And after a bit of searching, I could see off in the distance that there was some ancient ruins. So I headed over there the quickest I could and went to go and investigate. But as I made a way over, there was nothing really, just a load of ancient ruins. But there was this chest with some bread and some coal, which I didn't need. So I left that alone and continued searching. And then this happened. There it was, an arch tower. So I had to be really careful, so I snuck over, and yep, there they was. This was not good. So I carefully made a way over and decided to go and climb this ladder. And then, as I made myself a way up right here, I was spotted by these pillagers. So I started attacking the Illagers, but I got shot by an arrow, and it gave me this blindness effect. But luckily I was okay, and went back to battle, taking down these Illagers. And just like that, there it is. Hey, and also I noticed that there was this chest, and I could see that there was this flame bow. Now I'll be sure to take this, but there's only one last thing to do. Set the outpost on fire. Now this should show the Illagers not to mess with us, and that should do it. Well, I think we should go back and report the news to the king. So I headed back to the king and told him what just happened, and he told me this. I could see the king wanted to give me a gift. This was truly amazing, and I could see it was this chest plate. Now this was great, so I made sure to thank the king, and I now wanted to head back home. As I made myself way back home, I noticed that all the potatoes have grown up. This is great, so I harvested up all the potatoes, and there it is. Well, I think it's now time we upgrade our armor. So I headed to the caves and found some iron. Now I will need plenty of this. But as I was searching around, there it was, an emerald. This was great. I was super excited, so I headed over there the quick as I could and got myself my first emerald. Wow, there it is. But even better, as I was getting myself some iron, there it was, diamonds. This was great. So I collected up all the diamonds that I could get and decided to construct a diamond pickaxe. Now I would need this diamond pickaxe to get myself some obsidian, so that's what I did. But then, as I was making myself a way through the caves, I found this dungeon. I could see there was a few spiders here, so I took care of them and then found these chests, which contain this guard's helmet. Now I'll be sure to take this. And here it is, we now got a full set of guard armor. Very nice. Anyways, I continue exploring and I found this mine shaft, but sadly there was nothing in the mine shaft. But I did find some emeralds, and if you didn't know, villagers love emeralds. So I made sure to gather up all the emeralds that I could get. Anyways, we arrived home, and I now smelted up all the iron that I collected. Hey, and I also decided to go and craft a emerald block. And there it is. The next day, I now wanted to get myself a pet horse. Luckily, I was able to find one nearby. And just like that, there it is. We now got a pet horse. This was awesome, so I headed back to base and decided to construct an anvil so I could go and name my pet horse. And I wanted to call her Bella, so I did. But of course, my pet horse would need a place to live, and I remembered that the village had a stable, and this place was perfect for my pet horse. I could tell she was very happy. Hey, and I also noticed that all my iron has smelted up. This was great, so I constructed a full set of iron armor, and of course some brand new tools, and that should keep us very safe from those pillagers. Well, I think it's now time we go on a bit of an adventure. But before I leave, I wanted to go and tell the king that I was heading out for a couple of days and wondered if he needed anything. And he told me this. Now let's hope we find a jungle. Anyways, I said my final goodbyes and I headed out. So I headed out across the land, searching to see what I could find. And to my surprise, I couldn't believe it. There it was, a pillager outpost. This was not what I was expecting, but luckily for me I could see that the lava had set it on fire. This was great, but then I was spotted by some pillagers, so I started taking them down immediately, and luckily there was no match for me. I was way too powerful. With that new iron armor, they couldn't stop me. Well, that's all the pillagers taken care of, so I started searching and found this chest, and I could see that there was this spider vest. But that was it really, there was nothing else in the outpost, so I left the outpost and continued exploring once again. And you wouldn't believe it, I was able to find some sugarcane. This was great, I'll need this for potions. Hey, and also, I found some pumpkins. But even better, as I was making myself way up this hill right here, there it was, a jungle. Just what I was looking for. This was great, I was super excited, so I rushed down there the quick as I could and gathered up some cocoa beans. I'll need these for cookies. Hey, the next day I also found some watermelons. Now I'll be needing these for some potions. And also I found this jungle temple. I was very intrigued, so I headed over there as soon as possible. And as I went through the jungle and made myself a way down right here, I was able to find some chests. And I could see they contained some very nice loot, like this chest plate and of course some diamond horse armor. And I almost forgot about jungle wood. So I made sure to gather up the most jungle wood that I could get. Okay, that should do it. It's time to head back home. But as I was making myself a way back home, I couldn't believe my very own eyes. I could see the entire village has been set on fire. This was not good. I started panicking and didn't know what to do, but I had to get down to the village. So I made myself a way down the mountain and started sprinting towards the village. And as I made a way over, I could see this place was completely being set on fire and destroyed. But then, there they was, armed pillagers. This was not great. Their arrow shots went through my shield. I couldn't believe this. I have to say, that was extremely powerful, but I had no choice. I had to get through this. I can't believe it. Just look at this place. It's been completely destroyed. This cannot be good. I had to go and check up on the king, so I made our way over to his house and I couldn't believe it. I could see the king has been eliminated. This was really bad. But I also noticed that his armor was still here, so I decided to pick it up and take it with me. Maybe one day I can use this armor. But then I remembered about my home. I wanted to go and check if it was okay, so I left the castle and headed to my base. And as I made my way over, I was devastated. I could not believe this. I could see my house was destroyed, and also my potato farm. I couldn't live here, so I went back to my house and packed up all my things. But I did want to get my revenge on those pillagers, and I knew who did this. So I mounted up and headed to the pillager outpost. And there it is, the pillager outpost. I knew these pillagers were responsible for this. So I headed down and yep, there they was. All these pillagers. So I rushed over there the quick as I could and started taking down all these pillagers. That's all the pillagers taken care of. It is now time to confront the leader. And yep, there he was. And he told me this. I couldn't believe it. I had to get my revenge for what he did. As I was about to attack the leader, he used his powers and summoned some zombies. And also he had these magical powers, which did serious damage. So I had to be really careful. But luckily, I was able to take down all the zombies, and it is now time to take down the leader. And finally, after a few swings, there he was, defeated. Wow, there it is. And I have to say, that was really close. And I also noticed that there was this totem of undying. Now I'll be sure to take this. Anyways, I entered the outpost and wanted to go and find some loot. Luckily, I found this chest which contained a totem of shielding. And I also found this sword, so I decided to go and take it. But there's only one last thing to do. Set the outpost on fire. So that's what I did. And that should show the illagers not to mess with me. Anyways, it is time to get out of here. Well, after the illagers destroyed my base, I now needed to build a new home. So I thought here looks perfect, but first I'll need loads of materials. So I headed to the mine, got myself a load of stone, and then started construction on my castle. Also made a few paths and of course some brand new walls, which went very well as well. And also placed in a few leaves. But you see, I have a home, but Bella doesn't. So I decided to build her very own stable, using some stone bricks, which actually went quite well. Placed in a few more leaves, and of course added some birch wood, which went very well. But I also noticed that I didn't have a potato farm, so I built one of them as well. And there it is, a simple potato farm. And finally, on day 40, here it is. It doesn't look too bad if I do say so myself. Over here we have a stable which looks very nice. And of course we have our potato farm, which looks very good as well. And finally, over here we have my home. And I have to say, it does not look too bad. With all the decoration I've added around, looks pretty nice. And of course, if we enter my home, you can see we've got a crafting table right here, some chests, and also this bed. And over here we have a furnace room, basically where we cook all our stuff and smelt all our ores. And over here we have a anvil. And if we climb up these stairs right here, we have this other room. And if we enter this room, you can see that I've placed the king's armor onto our armor stand, which looks great. And also this chest, which has all my emeralds in it. And finally, if we climb to the top, pretty empty up here for now, but maybe one day I can build something here. But yeah, I'm very happy with this build. I think it looks amazing. Well then, I think it's now time we go to the Nether. So I placed in all the obsidian, and there it is, the Nether portal. So I jumped through, and as I got to the other side, I noticed that there was these quartz. So I collected a few. You never know, I might need these. Anyways, I wandered around a little bit and found this piglin, which had some fancy armor. But then, off in the distance, I could see that there were some bones, and I would need these bones for my potato farm. So I gathered up all the bones I could get. And then as I was out exploring, I found this dungeon. I was very intrigued, so I headed over there and found this chest. And I could see that there was this venom glaive. Now I'll be sure to take this. Anyways, I continued exploring and found this crimson forest. Now this was great, so I headed over there and gathered up some crimson wood. I might need this. Hey, and also I decided to go and gather up some streamlights. I might use these for some decoration, but then, you wouldn't believe it, there it was, a nether fortress. But even better, I was able to find some nether warts. Now I could make potions, which was awesome, but we had a problem. We didn't have any blaze rods. So I took down some blazes and got myself some blaze rods. So after taking down a few blazes, I decided to go and explore the Warp's forest that was nearby, and you wouldn't believe what I found. There it was, a bastion. And as I headed over there, I found a load of gold. So I happily gathered up all the gold, and as I was searching around, I found this chest, and I could see it had this lodestone. This was perfect, but even better than a lodestone, I found this pickaxe, and I could see it had Fortune 1. Wow, there it is. Alright, that was a nice little trip in the Nether. I figured it's now time to return home. So I arrived home, and the first thing I did is I bone mealed all my potatoes up and got myself loads of potatoes. I think it is now time to upgrade our armor. It's not looking that good, is it? So I headed to the caves, and there they was, diamonds. And that should do it. That should be plenty of diamonds. So I returned home and made a full set of diamond armor, and of course some tools. And there it is, we now got a full set of diamond armor and tools. Wow, there it is. Well then, I think it's now time we make the enchantment table. And there it is, the enchantment table. But of course it would need a place to go. So I headed outside and constructed a building for the enchantment table. And I have to say, it does not look too bad. It looks pretty good with the dark oak wood and of course the birch stairs. Anyways, it is now time to place in the enchantment table. And there it is. And we will need some bookshelves. So I made some Eyes of Ender, and I now wanted to head to the ancient stronghold. So I threw my Eye of Ender and headed out. And surprisingly, by the next day, after a bit of digging, there it was, the stronghold. But as I entered, I noticed that it looked a little bit different. But I also found this cool, so I decided to go take it. I might need this. But then, the next day, as I was searching around, there it was, the library. Just what I was looking for. So I didn't hesitate and gathered up all the books that I could get. And that should do it. That should be plenty of books. So I returned back home and make some bookshelves and place them in, of course. And there it is. The enchantment table room is now done. And I think it's now time we do a bit of enchanting. So I enchanted my diamond leggings to get myself protection 3, enchanted a pickaxe, and of course a sword. Very nice. But I did sadly run out of levels. So I went back to the Nether and got myself some more. And there it is. We now got fully enchanted diamond armor and of course some brand new tools. Well, I think it's now time we start working on our village. So I made some new paths, and before I built the village, I would need loads of materials. So I headed to the forest and got myself loads of wood. And then finally, I now started construction on the village. Decided to use some birch wood, some stone bricks, and of course some dark oak wood as well. Placed in a few windows for some decoration. And also to keep safe from the illagers, I decided to build a giant wall around my base. So that's what I did. And finally, on day 72, here it is, and I have to say, it looks awesome. Starting off here, we have a bit of a blacksmith. As you can see, we've got some furnaces right here. We also have this other little house right here, which looks alright. And finally, over here, we have the big house, where all the villagers sleep. What's a village without villagers? I don't know. So I headed out across the lands and went to go and tell the villagers if they wanted to stay at my village. And luckily, after a little bit of wandering around, I found this villager and told him if he wanted to stay at my village. This was great. And also asked a few other villagers as well. But then, as I was on my way back home, I couldn't believe it. I could see that there was this illager base. This was not good. So I carefully made our way over, and I could see that there was this giant door blocking the entrance. And then, there it was, Evoker. This was not good. I had to do something about this. So I made myself a way in right here, and I started attacking this evoker. Luckily, he did not stand a chance against me. I was way too powerful and easily able to take him down. But then I spotted these illagers. I had no clue what these illagers were, but they started attacking me. But luckily, once again, I was easily able to take them down. But as I headed upstairs, I was greeted with this golem, and he started doing serious damage. But luckily for me, I used this special technique to take down the golem. But as I took down the golem, I noticed that this place was on fire. This was bad, so I quickly broke the obsidian and got myself some diamonds. But as I was about to leave, I noticed that there was this chest. So I headed back into the base and opened up this chest. And I could see that there was this note. Now I wonder where these coordinates lead. I best take them, just in case. So I happily make it back home and notice that the villagers have arrived. And I could see that they was very happy, but there was missing one thing. They needed a farm. So I built them a potato farm, and this made the villagers even happier, which was great. Hey, but I also now wanted to make a potion room, so I could make some potions, of course. So I cleared out a massive space, removing all the blocks, and of course, decorating up a little bit, making it look very nice. And finally, here it is. Doesn't look too bad. And if we head down here, you can see we've got a bit of a nether wart farm, some storage, and of course, some decoration, like these bookshelves. And of course, over here, this is basically where we make all our potions. Speaking of potions, it's time to make some potions. So I made some health 2 potions, and of course, some strength potions as well. I may be needing these. And there it is. The potion room is pretty much done. Very nice. I think it is now time we go on a bit of an adventure. So I headed out across the lands and found this strange nether portal. And I could see that there was this chest with this axe, and of course this ember rope. And I also found this lightning rod. It looked extremely rare, so I decided to take it. Anyways, as I was exploring, I found this dungeon. I made myself a way down into the dungeon and was instantly greeted with some zombies. So I started taking them down, and then I stumbled across this room, and I could see that there was this brewing stand. But that was it really, so I left the dungeon and continued exploring. And then, as I was making myself a way across the seas, I noticed off in the distance that there was these chests, and as I opened them up, I was able to find myself this bow, and of course some shells. But even better, as I headed to land, I could see that there was this fish, and I wanted to keep him as my very own pet. I was super happy. But that's not all. Oh no. I also found this village, and I could see that there was this horse, which looks very similar to Bella, and also decided to get myself some wheat as well. You can never have too much wheat. But then, there it was, a Badlands biome, just what I was looking for. So I gathered up some red sand, and of course I gathered up some terracotta, just in case I wanted to use these blocks for some decoration. Also found some of this dirt, so I thought why not collect a few pieces. I could use this for some paths. But then, as I was making myself a way around the Badlands, I could see there was something off in the distance, so I went for a closer look. But as I turned this corner, I could see it was some sort of illager, so I carefully made a way over, and he started charging at me. I kind of panicked, but luckily I was able to take him down fairly easily. But it only got worse. I could see there was loads more, so I made a way down, and I started attacking the pillagers. And then one placed a bit of TNT down, and I ran for my life. Luckily I was able to get away just in time, and I have to say, that was pretty close. Anyways, I continued to take down the rest of the illagers, and I have to be honest, there wasn't really anything here, so I decided to leave. As I was heading out on my journey across the seas, I could see that there was this mushroom biome, so I headed over there and was greeted with all these mushroom cows. So I continued exploring the mushroom biome, and guess what? I found even more mushroom cows. I couldn't believe it, but as I thought all hope was lost, I was wrong. I noticed off in the distance that there was this mushroom temple. I was a bit confused, so I went to go and investigate. As I made myself way down right here, I noticed that there was some more fishes, so I decided to keep these fishes as my very own pets, and there it is. Also found this chest with some diamonds, which is pretty nice, but that was it really. There was nothing else, so I decided to leave the mushroom temple and now return home. And I have to say, it's very nice to be back home. Anyways, I went to go and place in my fishes. Also, as I was out exploring, I found some seagrass, so I also placed in some of that, and yep, that should do it. Anyways, to finish off the day, I decided to go and harvest up all my potatoes. Well then, I think it's now time we go and investigate these coordinates. I could see it was far away, so I mounted up and headed out across the lands, searching. And then finally, after a long search, I couldn't believe it. I could see that there was this tower. This could not be good. This has to be where the king is. But I wasn't sure, so I climbed this tree, and as I got a closer look, I could not believe my very own eyes. I could see, there he was, the king. But if we want to take down this king, we will need some better armor. So I headed back to the armory room and gathered up the king's armor. It is now time to use this. But before I go and enchant this, I need loads more levels. So I headed back to the Nether once again and gathered up loads and loads of levels. Okay, that should do it. That should be plenty of levels. I get back home and enchant all the armor. Get myself some very nice enchants. And also did a bit of combining to get myself some better gear. And there it is, fully enchanted armor. We're now ready to take down the king once and for all. It's now time. It's now time to take down the Illager king. So I gathered all the stuff I needed from my chest. And before I left, I made sure to say goodbye to all my pets. Like Bella, all the fishes, and of course my friend villagers. And then I headed out. And there it was, the Illager Tower. This is it. It is now time to get my revenge. So I headed over to the tower. And as I made my way over, there they was, Illagers. And I immediately started taking them down. After taking down some Illagers, I entered and made a way up these stairs. But I was greeted with more Illagers. But luckily, with that new armor, they couldn't stop me. I was way too powerful, and I was easily able to take them all down. But then, I was attacked by these Vindicators, and they did some serious damage. They got me down to 1 heart, but luckily, I was able to escape just in time. So I had a few more golden apples, and I went back to battle, taking down the rest of the pillagers. And there it is, all the Illagers have been taken care of. It is now time to confront the king. There he was, the king. I told him I was here for my revenge, and he told me this. I could see the king was not very happy. It's time to end this. And there it is, the king has been eliminated. Wow. We did it. And there it is, the throne is mine. Hey, also I noticed that the king had all these materials here, like gold, iron, and of course some diamonds and emeralds. Wow. There were also these chests, which contained some diamonds, and of course some emeralds, and an enchanted golden apple. This was amazing. Anyways, it is time to leave and go back home. And finally, on day 100, we made it back home. And there was only one last thing to do. I now wanted to make my very own throne. So that's what I did. I used some quartz, which looked very nice. And of course, for good luck, I placed in an emerald block. And there it is, the throne is now complete. Wow, we did it. Wow, we did it. We finally survived 100 days as an ancient villager in hardcore Minecraft. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time. Peace out.